organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, a booming business. See why the number of gun permits are shooting up in Johnson County.
And graduate grievances. We'll tell you why some of your TAs may think the university owes you money.
And in sports, we're breaking down the tape to show you just how good the Iowa wrestling team can be.
That's all coming your way next. Daily Iowan TV starts now.
I'm Tom Brokaw. For more than 100 years now, the University of Iowa community has been waking up to the Daily Iowan. Today, it's the largest newsroom in eastern Iowa. And now you can see the news every night on Daily Iowan TV and get it anytime worldwide at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for tuning into your Tuesday edition of Daily Iowan TV. I'm Lauren Moss.
And I'm Anna Theodosis. Firearms safety is a hot topic in Washington after the deadly Sandy Hook Elementary School shootings in December. And the effects of the tragedy are also reaching Iowa City. Daily Iowan TV reporter Nicole Meehan took a look at how Johnson County is responding to the possibility of new gun laws.
Business is booming for Steve Hensel. Steve travels around Iowa giving people the knowledge they need in order to legally own a gun. Here at the Second Amendment gun shop in Cedar Rapids, some people are rushing to get a gun in fear of future legislation.
I wanted to take the opportunity to get grandfathered into whatever new regulations and new laws happen, let it be at the federal level or the state level, and I wanted to make sure that at this point I had the concealed carry permit and was able to apply for it before the laws and regulations changed.
Joe is not the only person who thinks that his Second Amendment rights might not be safe.
People are just wary and unknowing of what's going to happen on the national level.
Because of the boom in business, shops like the Second Amendment gun shop are having a hard time keeping all the merchandise on their shelves. Gun warehouses that supply these stores are having a hard time keeping up with the demand. Back in October of 2012, there were 110 permits to carry a weapon issued in Johnson County. For November, that number rose to 124. In December, 164. The Sheriff's Department is still figuring out those numbers for January, but they expect to see a significant rise.
I think what we've seen as an immediate impact is sort of the panic button. I mean, we've been overwhelmed with people coming in and applying for permits to acquire and permits to carry.
The sheriff and Steve both say they would be surprised to see any significant gun law changes in Iowa, but the people of Johnson County are not taking any chances. This is Nicole Meehan, Daily Iowan TV.
Thanks for that report, Nicole. And firearm sales have not exploded just in Johnson County. Gun retailers all around the country are running out of stock. New FBI data published Tuesday shows background checks for firearm sales actually declined last month. The most likely reason for this decrease is the spike in gun sales. Background checks are obviously not necessary if there are not any guns to buy.
And the murder trial for 22-year-old Justin Marshall ended with closing arguments Tuesday. Marshall is accused of killing Iowa City landlord John Versipt in 2009. If convicted, Marshall will face life in prison. The judge gave the case to the jury Tuesday afternoon.
Some graduate students are hoping to build a university. A local union representing graduate employees met with the Board of Regents on Monday to negotiate lowering tuition and fees and even some fee reimbursement. The graduate students have a petition with 800 signatures. It was delivered to President Sally Mason February 1st. Dean of the graduate school, John Keller, thinks eliminating the fees will put the university in debt.
$2.5 to $2.8 million burden on the university, which is a considerable amount of resources that we would have to come up basically to pay the fees for our students, and that would be taking away from other initiatives at the university.
The union and the regents have until February 20th to reach an agreement. And still to come on Daily Iowan TV, illegal or not, see why the Iowa City Schools Superintendent is defending a controversial policy.
And in sports, break out of the brooms? Our sports staff tells you exactly what Fran McCaffrey's squad needs to do in order to pull a season sweep over northern neighbor Wisconsin.
That's coming up in just a bit, but now let's check in with Daily Iowan TV's Whitney Blakemore for your local weather forecast. And Whitney, what can we be expecting this week?
Thanks, Lauren. Tomorrow morning is going to start off a bit chilly, around 18 degrees with partly cloudy skies. As we head into the afternoon, the temp will hit a high for the day at 37. It won't get any warmer than that, though, as the day comes to a close with temps hitting around 32. Taking a look into our extended forecast, Thursday will be bringing us a 40% chance of rain. Temps will start to slightly warm up for the weekend with highs in the mid-40s and lows around 25 degrees. Finally, to start off next week, Monday may possibly bring some snow with a 20% chance. That's all I have for weather here. Back to you guys at the desk.
School officials are defending the Iowa City School District's diversity plan after concerns were raised by the state educational department. The department told school officials the plan would violate federal law because information released could allow students' identities to be made public without parental consent. The policy aims to better distribute students who are on the free and reduced lunch program. Superintendent Stephen Murley said the school district will maintain conversations with the board to ensure no part of the plan violates any laws.
The board has worked towards clarifying some of the language that's in there, so they've, through the governance committee, gone through some dialogue about what the operational definitions are, where some confusion lay among the board members, and some clarification there, so that the next step would then be the implementation.
Murley also said he did not believe that there were any violations of federal law within the plan, instead saying it was a case of confusion.
The board's attorney was present at the governance committee meeting yesterday, and his opinion was that the policy itself doesn't violate any laws. He did indicate that there were concerns about what an implementation plan would look like, and that would have to be very carefully articulated so that it didn't violate any regulations at the state or the national level.
The school board will hold a vote on the policy Tuesday night.
And Iowa Senator Joe Bolcom has sponsored a bill that will allow children of illegal immigrants to receive in-state tuition. 12 states have already passed the bill, but this is the first time it has been proposed in Iowa. If passed, children with illegal parents would have the ability to go and afford college. Read more about this story in tomorrow's print edition of the Daily Iowan.
And Governor Terry Branstad has not backed down from his opposition to expanding Medicaid in the state, despite a push from Iowa Democrats. The Medicaid expansion could be added to as many as 150,000 people in the Iowa Medicaid roll. Branstad said he believes raising Medicaid would be too costly and would hurt the state's spending. And now let's throw it over to Ian Martin for a look at Hawkeye Sports. Ian?
Hello and welcome back to the Daily Iowan TV Sports Studio. A lot to get to on the program today, including a visit from our wrestling insider Cody Goodwin, fresh off of his weekly meet and greet with Coach Brands and the team. That's not all, though. We'll also have a preview of tomorrow night's men's basketball game in Madison. But we start today's show with a few quick updates from some Hawkeye Olympic sports that are in action this week. The University of Iowa women's golf team was tied for fourth place at the Hurricane Invitational in Miami after the second round action was suspended due to darkness. Sophomore Shelby Phillips led the charge for the Hawks after shooting a 1/72 to start play. The black and gold carded a team score of 19 over after a round one in Coral Gables. Away from the warm weather of Florida, the women's tennis team nearly pulled off an upset of number 18 Notre Dame yesterday, eventually dropping the bid 4-3. Iowa's Ruth Seaborn did manage to remain undefeated at her number one position after a straight set victory over Notre Dame's Brittany Sanders. And speaking of upset bids, Fran McCaffrey's crew could certainly use one tomorrow night on the road against Wisconsin. But let's put things into perspective, Hawk fans. It's never easy to play at the Kohl Center. There is hope, though. Some of the Hawks already have beaten Bo Ryan's bunch this year, and a lot of them have beaten and swept Wisconsin in the past. This includes a win at the Kohl Center last year on the Iowa resume. Daily Iowan TV Sports men basketball reporter Eric Dawn has the game preview.
Halfway through the Big Ten season, the Iowa men's basketball team certainly has some work to do if they are to make the NCAA tournament. This young Hawkeye team has certainly experienced some growing pains as they're learning to win in the Big Ten. This was on case Sunday in Minnesota when the Hawkeyes let another late lead get away as they fell to the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Iowa's Achilles heel this season has been late game execution. The Hawkeyes have failed to consistently score or even find open looks within the last 2 minutes of the halves, and that's something that has really let Fran McCaffery's bunch down, as they are 3-6 in the Big Ten. If the Hawkeyes are going to make a run, it better start Wednesday night when they travel to Madison, Wisconsin to take on the Wisconsin Badgers. The same Badger team the Iowa Hawkeyes defeated right here in Carver Hawkeye Arena on January 19th. In that game, Iowa almost let a 20-point lead slip away, and they were able to hold on at the end, winning by 4. A rare close victory for Iowa. Now, Wisconsin will look to slow the pace down, grind it out on defense, really irritate the Iowa offense. The Hawkeyes must get out in transition, run the floor, get easy baskets. It's something a struggling offense could certainly use. Now, all hope is not lost for the Iowa Hawkeyes. They're 3-6 in the Big Ten now, but only need to go 6-3 in the second half to go 900 in league play, something that could merit them an NCAA tournament berth. Coming into this point of the season, Iowa's had the second toughest strength of schedule within conference play of any team in the country. With the hardest part of their schedule behind them, Iowa could make a run if they can overturn their late game struggles. Expect a low-scoring game, exactly what Wisconsin wants on Wednesday night. If Iowa can show the heart and the physicality they showed in Minnesota, they should be competitive once again. From Carver Hawkeye Arena, this is Eric Dawn, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
Thanks, Eric, and we just can't get enough of him, so he's back on our set again. Our grappling guru, Cody Goodwin. And Cody, you're fresh off your usual press availability with Tom Brands today. What did the head coach have to say?
Head coach didn't have a lot to say about last Friday night, which, of course, a lot of us still do want to talk about, that big upset win over formerly number 1 ranked Penn State. They have since dropped to number 3 in one poll and still remain number 1 in another poll. We'll get to specifics about that later. But again, he didn't really want to talk a whole lot about Penn State, despite all of us kind of grilling him about that and what his thoughts were on the duel now that they're a few days removed from it. But instead, they did just want to talk about this upcoming Friday night duel against Illinois. They're going to go to Champaign on Friday night against a pretty decent Illinois team. They won't be nearly as tough, as you said, as the Penn State team that they faced last Friday night, but there is one key matchup that you guys are going to want to look forward to. It is at 125 pounds again. Matt McDonough against the only kid that beat him last year, and that's Jesse Delgado of Illinois. It'll be a good match, and Matt McDonough even said today that he's looking to get a little bit of revenge after that one loss last season.
Yeah, and Iowa usually gets a lot of points from its lighter weights, but Illinois could challenge the status quo, especially with Delgado coming up. Now, Tom Brands doesn't want to talk about the Penn State match, but we certainly do, because that was a huge win by Iowa last Friday night in Carver Hawkeye Arena. Cody, you were looking at the tape and saw something in the Penn State duel that you wanted to break down from the Mike Evans match, correct?
Indeed, I do. At the Penn State against Mike Evans, you got Matt Brown here in on a takedown attempt here, if you will. See, Mike Evans drops to his butt there, but if you notice there, he grabs the ankle there from behind. It's kind of hard to see right now, and it looks like the Nittany Lion is in good position. There you can see his hand pop out and grab the toe. This is really good position for Mike Evans. We'll slow it down here a little bit. As you can see, not only does he have the ankle underneath, but he has the toe, and you can kind of see here, if we stop and zoom in real close, as soon as here in a minute, you can kind of see the torque he's putting on that knee of his Penn State opponent. The reason this is crucial is that it locks out Matt Brown's knee, his Penn State opponent, and you'll see coming out of this that allows Mike Evans to able to throw his hips to the ground. As you see here, he's going to straighten up and square up with his opponent, and if not for locking that knee, none of that would have been possible. And you see they're still holding the ankle. He's able to get up and take down his opponent when it seemed all unlikely to take down his opponent, and he was able to get the win there because of that takedown, 4-3. And if had he not gotten that takedown, Penn State could have ultimately won the duel.
Certainly a huge change in fortune in wrestling. Like many sports, a sport of inches, or in this case, just a couple of toes. Well, thanks for coming in, Cody. That's all for us here in the sports studio, and a whole lot more coming up for you tomorrow and the rest of the week. Lauren, Anna, back to you at the desk.
Thanks for that, Ian. And only with Daily Iowan TV can you get a sneak peek into Wednesday's pages of the Daily Iowan. A new commissioner, read about the new UISG Student Election Board member.
And read about the decisions made in tonight's City Council meeting.
That's your latest edition of Daily Iowan TV.
Be sure to check us out tomorrow or anytime online at dailyiowan.com. Thanks for watching and have a great night.